Hello everyone, Big Red 310 here again. Is back for a new edition of the All Sides of the Wrestling World. Got a big one today. This is one of the major catch-up editions of All Sides of the Wrestling World. Although, like I promised, when I do review old shows, I will throw in current stuff to make it interesting and relevant. And judging as how there's a WWE and what's this? A TNA review in the same video? I have a pretty good feeling this will get more views than most. Alright. So yeah, we have WWE, TNA, ROH The Homecoming, and 4 Chikara shows, and PWG Kurt Russell Reunion 3. As far as the PWG shows, because people have been asking about this, when I'm catching up to those, I haven't really put much thought into it. It's coming, I don't really know when. I do know that right now, my main focus after this is to catch up on some Dragon Gate and CCW shows from 2011. I then watch Rise and Prove, and we'll throw in, I guess, what's the pay-per-view coming up? No Way Out. I'll review that one as well with those. That's looking exactly like what the next All Sides of the Wrestling World is going to be. So, let's get right into it with the WWE review. We'll start with Over the Limit. This was a 2-match show. This show every year has always been a 1 or 2 match show. I remember last year, the only match, and boy, do I mean the only match that was above 3 stars was the Christian Randy Orton match, which was an excellent match. Last year's Over the Limit was literally the definition of a 1-match show. A lot of people say that. They're like, oh, this was a 1-match show, when in reality it was a great match, and there were a few good matches, but they didn't really stand out, so people don't consider it. Over the Limit last year was literally a 1-match show. There was one match that was better than average. It was a 1-match show. This show was not. This show had another amazing match, a really good match, and a pretty good tag match. I thought one of the better WWE Tag Team title matches we've seen in a while. As far as the rest of the undercard, though, is pretty average. There's a lot of nothing on the show. I have no idea why they feel the need to put Brodus Clay and Ryback on pay-per-view and squash matches. I just don't get it. It doesn't give them more exposure. I mean, it doesn't make them feel any more important. Do you really feel Ryback is more important by squashing someone on pay-per-view rather than squashing someone on TV? No, you don't care if he's on pay-per-view or not. At the end of the day, he's squashing a nobody. That's all that matters. That's why I just don't understand why WWE feels they absolutely have to put him on the pay-per-view. And I don't mind Ryback. I don't. Maybe it's because he's friends with Daniel Bryan, but I don't mind Ryback at all. I just don't see the point of putting him on pay-per-view if he's going to do the same thing that he could do on TV. All it does is take up time. The Brodus Clay Miz stuff I thought was okay. They had a match on Raw that was awful. This was better. Still, it was all right, I would say. I do agree with Bryan Alvarez. For Brodus Clay, he should wrestle like The Undertaker, where he's in control for like 10 minutes, and then he sells for like 4 minutes, and then he has like a 5-minute comeback. You shouldn't have him sell for 10 minutes because he shouldn't be selling with his size and with his gimmick. Face or not, doesn't matter. I agree with him there. And I think the matches will be a lot better. He was more in control this match than he was in the Raw match. That's why it was better. But still needs to work on it. The Battle Royal was a Battle Royal. Every Battle Royal is the same in my opinion. I mean, there's very little differences. And I give them all the same rating. I find every Battle Royal somewhat amusing. But they're nothing more than okay. So that's what that gets. Kane Zack Ryder was a nothing match. What did I miss? Layla Beth Phoenix, I liked. I know a lot of people didn't. I've heard several people complain of how sloppy the match was. I didn't care because I was actually into what they were doing. And I haven't been like that for a women's match in a long time. So I didn't care that it wasn't aesthetically pleasing when it comes to the mechanics. Because I was really buying into their near falls. I was really buying into their reversals. I was really buying into the women's match. And that's a rarity these days in WWE. So I tip my hat to both girls. Like I said, the tag title match was just a really fun, high-octane, back-and-forth, fast-paced WWE match with 4 guys who WWE never seems to know what to do with. But hopefully that changes on Sunday with Ziggler stuff. And now we get to the 2 good matches. Or not good match, the 2 amazing matches. Well, one amazing, one really good. First we have the 4-way, Sheamus, Orton, Del Rio, Jericho. A lot of people didn't like the build to this match. I actually did. I thought that most 4-ways and 3-ways are just the WWE going, well, we have 4 guys We don't really know which one of them we want to feud for the title, so let's just have a four-way. And usually the build is, like I said, very, very weak. But for this particular four-way, I thought there was a rhyme and a reason. I thought that, well, Del Rio had won the number one contendership of Sheamus weeks back, but at the same time, Chris Jericho in the tag match got a pinfall victory over Sheamus, but also at the same time, Randy Orton was in a heated contest with Sheamus and were semi-feuding with him through before and after that tag team contest. And it eventually was that there were multiple people that can make a claim as for who should fight Sheamus next. And it was only fair that they do a four-way. I liked the build. I know a lot of people didn't. I liked it. I thought that, for a four-way, it's not that bad. And as far as the match goes, I thought the match was really, really, really well done. I thought it was a very fun, entertaining four-way. A lot of the reversals were really good. There were a lot of spots that really got me. Several spots towards the end, I was like, wow, that's the end. And bam, someone kicks out. The WWE had me convinced that each guy in this match was going to win the title. And that's hard to do because I was like 90% sure that Sheamus was going to retain. But there were so many near falls in this match where I was like, oh my God, is Del Rio going to win? Oh, wow. Chris Jericho just won this match for sure. Orton, that's it. Orton's got it in the bag. So many. And just the false finishes and the teases were just so well done. And the Daniel Bryan CM Punk match is absolutely tremendous. This is my number 3 match of the year right now. And it's probably my match of the year because 1 and 2 I have not seen on DVD yet. My number 1 is Davey Richards versus Michael Elgin, and Kevin Steen versus El Generico is my number 2. But both of those I saw live, so those are just based on live reactions. So as far as matches I've actually seen on tape, this is the best match I've seen this year. I just think the technical wrestling was tremendous. I think the back and forth was great. I thought Daniel Bryan, using a lot of his trademark spots, really got the match over. And they were both able to sell in this match. Daniel Bryan, I saw the show almost a month ago, but Daniel Bryan, I believe, was selling his chest or his legs, and Punk's was always selling his arm. Danielson's arm work is really one of the best I've ever seen. I mean, you could just watch Danielson rip a guy's arm apart, and it makes you really, really buy into the guy. And, they both did a very good job in making each other seem very competitive. It was a very competitive match. Both guys seem they can win at every instance, and I love the finish with the yes lock turned into a pinfall combination. I just thought everything was so well done. I thought Daniel Bryan came out of this match actually looking really good. I thought he came out of this match looking like an upper echelon guy because they really made him look like he was on Punk's level. So absolutely tremendous match. 7 out of 10. It's when a show has a 4.5 star match, it's really hard for me to give it less than a 6. Oh, the main event, I didn't talk about it. I didn't like it as a pay-per-view main event. Honestly, if it was any other match on the card, I probably would have been a little nicer to it. But since it was the main event, I wasn't a big fan of it. I thought it went way too long, like way too long. And I just thought the ending, the last 10 minutes were just like, what is this? When John Laurinitis started getting in his offense, and the whole STF spot I didn't like. It wasn't very good. But the CM Punk Daniel Bryan match is amazing. And like I said, a show can't have as amazing match as that and be bad. It honestly can't. And then you add in the 4-way, which was almost great, like a hair away from being great, and a very good tag match. I got to give the show a thumbs up. I'll give it a 7 out of 10 because what was on the undercard, like I said, nothing was really bad. It was either okay or average or nothing really special. Like the Kane Zack Ryder match was nothing really special. The Ryback Camacho match was just a squash. Brodus Clay Miz was, a squash. It was okay. Layla Beth Phoenix, one of the better women's matches I've seen in a while. Battle Royal was, it was okay. Main event was really the only match that I didn't really like, but I'm not going to let that kill the whole show. 7 out of 10. Slammiversary, a very, very, very good pay-per-view from TNA. For those who are wondering what my thoughts are on TNA, it's very quite simple. I was talking to my friend Bryan, Next Big Thing, and Next Big Thing has actually been really into this TNA hype, and he's been into it longer than most people have. He's been into it for months and months, thinking that the product from TNA has improved. Now, I know I quit watching after Bound for Glory, and I did. I stopped reviewing their pay-per-views. I stopped caring about the product, and like in April, May, it got to the point where I wasn't even reading spoilers. I wasn't even keeping track of the product. I just didn't give a shit. But after Sacrifice, a lot of people were saying how really good their show was. A lot of people thought Sacrifice was a very good pay-per-view. And I was like, okay. And then Bryan and Vinny, week after week, were saying how much better Impact had gotten. Like, every week, it was like, Impact was really good tonight. Impact was really good tonight. Impact was really good tonight. And I was like, wow, I guess there's some improvement. This was right after Russo left, so I knew it wasn't a coincidence, but I could sense the improvement in the product. And the Joseph Park stuff I always liked. I remember I did see some of those vignettes on YouTube. I really liked that angle. So the Joseph Park stuff, I guess Joseph Park made me give TNA a second shot. But the go-home show for Slammiversary, Bryan was telling me, yeah, man, you don't trust me. It's gone a lot better. Just, give it a shot. You never know. So I watched the go-home show to Slammiversary, and I really, really, really liked it. I really thought it was a very fun show. It went by very quickly. The storylines, they had their simple storylines, and they got them over. It was just a very good go-home show, and so I decided, you know what, I'm going to watch this pay-per-view. And I thought it was a very good show. Am I back to TNA? No. But I'll probably start watching their TV more consistently because they're actually putting on a good TV product. So I'll watch Impact here and there. Will I go back to reviewing their pay-per-views every month? I'm not sure. It really depends on the card. But like I also said on Twitter, we'll get into that. Never mind. Aries Joe was a very, very good opener. Very, very good opener. Samoa Joe, he was using a lot of his old trademark spots. He really felt like the Samoa Joe of old. He felt like the Samoa Joe that we all fell in love with. And he really meshed very well with Aries here. Aries was also really on top of his game in this match. And this match didn't even go that long, but they got a lot done in the match. There was no waste of time. And Joe and Aries also had some really great strike exchanges. Made the match feel really stiff. It was like a lot of the spots in this match were very hard hitting. It really felt like something. I don't know if stiff is the word, but it felt like something unique. And like I said, the strike exchanges were also very well done. The exchange of near falls were very well done, and it didn't even go too long, so it didn't overstay its welcome. Very good pro wrestling match. Hernandez Kid Cash I liked. One of Hernandez's better matches that I'd seen in a while. Was short, didn't go very long, but it was fun. Fun. Devon and Garrett versus Robbie and Robbie T. This was a nothing match. Kind of like the Kane Zack Ryder match, but a little better, but still a nothing match. It was barely okay. Van Dam, Hardy, and Anderson was a very good three-way. It was an actual three-way, as in all three guys actually intermingled and did three-way spots, and not with two guys in the ring, one guy on the outside, and then rotating. They actually did three-way encounters, and that's what made the match work. And it didn't go very long, and it got very spotty in parts, but I didn't care because I was buying into all the near falls, and I really appreciated the three-way work. Like I've always said before, if you're spotty, but you could still keep me invested into the match and keep me entertained, then I'm willing to overlook it. Because at the end of the day, we just want to be entertained when we watch wrestling. At the end of the day, that's all we want. And if they're doing that, who gives a fuck? Honestly, who gives a fuck how? If they're doing that, they're doing that. So they did a very good job in this match. Crimson James Storm, I thought was good booking. I thought Storm coming back, ending the streak, starting his road to the title win was a good idea. Gail Kim, Miss Tessmacher was another nothing match. Bully Ray versus Joseph Park was the best thing on this pay-per-view. Yes, this segment was amazing. I loved this match. In fact, so much so that when I watched the show live, I didn't see every match. Like live, I missed the three-way, I missed the women's match, and I missed the Devon and Garrett Bischoff match. But I saw everything else live. And when I went back to rewatch those three matches, I actually rewatched the Bully Ray Joseph Park match. I didn't rewatch the tag match, even though it was a great match. I rewatched the Bully Ray Joseph Park match because of how much I loved that match. That stuff was tremendous, absolutely tremendous. I hate when people say, "Oh well," I think people have this misinterpretation that because a match is an NA that it can't contribute to the show. This match was the best thing on this pay-per-view. So even though I'm not giving it a star rating, it was the best thing on this pay-per-view. It was an amazing, amazing segment. So I don't want people to think like I know Trademark doesn't, and honestly that's his thing, and I used to do it too, but I don't like doing it anymore. Where you put NA, and I think a lot of people when they watch our reviews, they just look at the NA and they're like, oh okay, that doesn't count. Like, that doesn't go into the match ratings or to the overall show rating. No, the overall show rating gets a big bump because of this. This match was worth my money, even though I didn't pay for the show. But it was a very, very, very great segment. I really, really loved it. Bobby Roode versus Kazarian and Daniels versus AJ and Angle was exactly what you'd expect from these four. Great match. Angle really felt like the Angle of old. Like, I hadn't seen those German suplex combinations from him in a while. Maybe it's because I haven't been watching the product in 6 months, but still, I hadn't seen that stuff in a while. and Kaz and Daniels worked really well together as a team. Kaz and Daniels are also very good heels, I think. When they were in control, their facials were very good. They had very good ways of getting you invested into the babyface. They're both really good in that role, not just Daniels. And AJ is obviously a great babyface in peril. And the Angle made a tremendous comeback with clotheslines and Germans. And AJ's springboard spot was absolutely incredible. One of the best spots I've seen in a while. A great pro wrestling match. Great match, honestly. Nothing more you could ask for. Bobby Roode versus Sting. This is what I wanted to say about TNA. Yes, I was just praising TNA for the past 8 minutes, but TNA is still not without its problems. The booking, the aftermath of this match was awful. The match I thought was okay. I actually thought it was entertaining, barely good. It was a fun little encounter. And then the aftermath was Bobby Roode gets the win, and then Sting beats the shit out of him for 10 minutes. And I was really pissed because I thought that really hurt Bobby Roode's character. And someone made a good point of this on Twitter. Why is it that Sting, whenever he feuds with someone, he always gets the upper hand in the end? Always. With everybody. It was the same. In his feud with Joe, it was the exact same way. In his feud with Jarrett, it was the same way. In his feud with Angle, it was the same way. In his feud with Abyss, in his feud here with Bobby Roode, whoever he feuds with, he always gets the upper hand in the end. And why did they have to have Sting beat the shit out of Bobby Roode for 5 minutes? Why did they have to do that? So this is my thing on TNA. The product has improved. It was better than what I saw last time, but it still has its problems. I'm not going to come back and say TNA is perfect. It's not. It still has its issues, and this match showed it. It's not perfect. It's better. Is it better than WWE? Probably. I would say probably so. But since it's better, that's a good thing, but it's not like it's perfect either. It still has work to do, and they need to do a better job of protecting Bobby Roode. I'm sorry. That is not acceptable. But very good show. I would give this show a higher rating. I was going to give it like an 8.25, but the aftermath of the main event really left a bad taste in my mouth because going forward, I thought that really hurt Bobby Roode. And at the end of the day, that's the last thing you see on the show, and it just really pissed me off. So that's why I kind of lowered my rating a little bit. But nonetheless, a very, very good pay-per-view from TNA. They're doing a good job. Not gonna lie, they're doing a good job. The ROH TV. Let me see what's on here. I only have 2 episodes on here. Yeah, the Road Rage segments, the Kevin Steen, Davey Richards, they re-showed their Border Wars match. That's a great match, but the interviews they showed were very good interviews. Some of those I hadn't seen before. And the episode before that, the All Night Express Young Bucks, that had a very good elimination match, finally ending that rivalry. The Michael Elgin versus Jay Lethal, Camel Dickinson, and Grizzly Redwood stuff was very well done. It very teased the Roderick Strong Michael Elgin heel turn. And the Mike Bennett Eddie Edwards match was okay. Very good build to Best in the World, I guess. There's still more to come, but I remember when I first read the spoilers for the TV tapings, I remember thinking the build to Best in the World would be really good. So, that's good. All right, ROH, The Homecoming. This was a very good show from Ring of Honor. Although the first 2 matches are kind of a little unnoteworthy. They were both okay. Though the first one was almost good, but not quite. But there's not really much to talk about. Ben Turpin says this all the time on Twitter. ROH makes you not give a crap about their undercards. And it's unfortunately true. At the end of the day, there's not much to say besides those matches were okay. Kevin Steen versus Kenny King had a good match. Chris Hero and Michael Elgin had a good match, but a match that I think a lot of people are overrating. I think some of the near falls just got a little ridiculous. Chris Hero, I love Chris Hero. I love Chris Hero just as much as the next person. But I do think that there are times in his matches where they do get a little too spot happy, and I kind of lose interest. As opposed to the 3-way, Van Dam, Hardy, and Anderson, where it got a little spot happy, but I didn't care because I was still interested. This match, I kind of lost interest. They were kind of just trading near falls back and forth for 5 minutes, and they kind of lost me. Probably because they didn't get me invested enough into the match beforehand, but it was still a good match. And if they're watching this video, hey, go ahead. Say I don't know what I'm talking about. Say I'm an idiot. Whatever. I don't care. But I just want you guys to know that you had a good match, but I got a little bored by the end. But it was still good. The majority of it was good. Just nothing like, truly, truly special. Roderick Strong, Adam Cole. I love this match. Everyone knows I'm a huge Adam Cole mark. So obviously I'm going to love this more than most. But I really love this match. I thought they really made Adam Cole look good. I thought a lot of the chair spots were really well done. It was just a very, very well put together match. And I was really impressed by it. The Briscoes versus Jigsaw and Halowicki was another very good match. Jigsaw and Halowicki played excellent baby faces in this match. Excellent. And the Briscoes, even though they were getting cheered at the beginning, they got a way to become heels through the development of the match. And that was very, very well done. And the table spots were really good, and the comeback spots were great. Davey and Jay Lethal, very good match. Not great, but nonetheless very good. This was better than their TV match, in my opinion. Jay Lethal looked really good here. He really is one of the best workers in the company, in my opinion. But as everyone knows, I'm also a Jay Lethal mark, as well as an Adam Cole mark, so that's not that shouldn't be of surprise to anybody. But Davey did a good job here. The match didn't get out of control. Davey was actually in control for most of the match, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again. When Davey is in control, or when he's heel, which is when he usually is in control, his matches usually come off really well, better than when they are when he's the face in peril. And I've always said that even if the champion is a babyface, I don't think it matters. I think if the champion is the world champion, he should be dominating his challenger for most of the match because he's the champion. I don't care if he's a babyface. The challenger should not be working over the champion. I mean, my bad. They could do that, but I think they need to do the former option from more often. I guess the challenger could work over the champion because the champion at the end of the day overcomes the odds and the challenger doesn't get the job done. I get that. But also, I think a lot of more companies should use the story of the champion works over the challenger. Even if it's face versus heel, I really think it can work. I think that it can work at times because the champion is the champion. He's the champion for a reason. He can't just always be selling. He can't just always be about to lose his title and then makes a comeback and wins. So I like that they did that here. Very good stuff. It's a very good show. But at the end of the day, it definitely has a house show feel to it. I think the Roderick Strong Adam Cole match and the Briscoes Jigsaw and Halowicki match really, really meant something. Everything else was kind of skippable. Even Davey Lethal at the end of the day. I mean, it was a very good match, but that's all it was. So I don't know if I recommend necessarily going out of your way to see it, but it's still a good show. If there's a sale and you just want a very fun wrestling show, I guess you can pick this up. Kurt Russell Reunion 3. All right. I wasn't really looking forward to watching this show because the Dragon Gate guys, when American promotions bring in Dragon Gate guys for interpromotional matches, I'm usually not that into it because all the Dragon Gate guys just kind of feel the same to me. I know I can recognize the only two that don't are Shingo and Dragon Kid, and they don't work in the U.S. anymore for whatever reason. And Tozawa, I consider Tozawa kind of in the middle, especially in PWG, so I won't include him. But everyone else, they just kind of seem the same to me. Doi, Yamato, BB Hulk, Mochizuki, they just all feel the same to me. And I know some are better than others, but at the end of the day, they just feel the same. That's why I never get that excited, and that's why I'm never really that into their matches. But this was a little different. The BB Hulk Jimmy Susumu match I didn't like. Well, I thought it was okay. To say I didn't like it's a harsh word. Doi Willie Mack I thought was good, but not what I was expecting. Young Bucks versus Davey and Harry Smith was again good. Davey did some great selling towards the end, but again, not what I was expecting. The Fighting Taylor Boys versus Chris Cadillac and Famous Pete was an okay opener. Mochizuki versus Roderick Strong, again good, but maybe this is me because I just can't get into the Dragon Gate guys, but not what I was expecting. Blood Warriors versus Rock Next Monsters, really good match. One of the more better are PWG versus Dragon Gate matches, but still, at the end of the day, could have been. That was a really good match. I won't crap on that. Super Dragon Kevin Steen and Akira Tozawa versus Generico Pac and Michio Shino. I don't get the love for this match at all. I really don't. I was watching it, and when it was over, I was just like, okay, that was good. There are matches that I can recognize. This match had a shitload of exchanging near falls towards the end, and there are matches like that where I can watch them and say, well, I only thought this was very good, but I can understand why people will give it 4.5 stars. I don't understand with this match. Because for me, this match didn't have that many false finishes for me to see why the normal fan of that type of stuff would love it that much. Honestly, it's just, to me, the way I saw it, I just think that's what it was. It was just a very good match. Nothing more. The match of the night for me was the 8-man. Because it was hilarious and it had Mascarita Dorada. And Mascarita Dorada was amazing. He was absolutely incredible. He was really, really fun to watch. And that whole match was super entertaining. So that was my match of the night, honestly. That match I really, really liked. 7.25 out of 10. They're better PWG shows, honestly, in my opinion. That one's not really necessary. Chikara All right. That's 4 Chikara shows, and we're already 25 minutes in. Let's try to keep this short. Hot Off the Griddle was the second best Chikara show of the year, besides Shikarasaurus Rex. The Colony and Jigsaw versus Swarm and the Shard was a very fun opener. Archibald Peck versus Kobold was a great segment. Or why am I saying Archibald Peck's mixed martial Archie versus Kobold? Again, like the Joe Park stuff. This was the second best thing on this show. So it very heavily influences my overall rating for the show because it was such a great thing to watch on DVD. Honestly, the mixed martial arts character was probably the best thing that anything in pro wrestling has done in 2012. If you haven't seen it yet, just watch it. Don't ask questions, just watch. The Throwbacks versus the Batiri was a very good match. I really liked the finish. I really liked this whole throwback storyline of, Mr. Touchdown's the asshole. He's a jerk, and he cheats to win, but Dasher never finds out, and Dasher just views him as this loudmouthed kid that he has to teach, that he has to take under his wing and hope to change, but he never realizes that Mr. Touchdown cheats in every single match to get them points. And yes, Batiri, because I know you watch my videos. Oh, yes, I know. I get your messages on Twitter. Yeah, you had a good match. Was that good enough? Was that good enough? Hey, look, 3 stars out of 5. That's good. That's good. You see? I'm just messing with those guys. I like those guys a lot. I want them to win King of Trios this year. I really, really, really like them. But if I rate their matches less than 3 stars, they don't get too happy. Aw, pobrecitos. Good match. Eric Cannon and Darren Corbin versus the Young Bucks was another good match. And yes, Matt Jackson, he's the one that wrote it. Little kids love your wrestling. Yes, we do. By the way, I'm 18. I don't know if you knew that, but yeah. 3.0 in the Spectral Alamo over Speedy K and Bravados. This was okay. I kind of thought this would be a little better. For an Atomicos match, I kind of expected a little more from it. But it was still entertaining. And the finish at the end with the Bravados really, really helped develop the Bravados 3.0 feud. Kingston Steen I liked. Even with the finish, a lot of people were kind of griping at the finish. But really, there's only so much Chikara could do. Now that Chikara, no Ring of Honor, wanted their champions to lose. So I can kind of understand. I enjoyed the match for what it was, and I'll leave it at that. Grand Akuma versus Fist, I thought was okay. A lot of people really hated this segment. I thought it was fine. I thought it really got over the trial series, and it really got over the overcoming the odds aspect of it. So I was cool with it. Sarah Del Rey versus El Generico is my second best Chikara match of the year behind the Young Bucks versus Fist at Chikarasaurus Rex. This was a great match. Del Rey is tremendous. I won't be surprised if they do Del Rey. They're going to do Del Rey Kingston, but I wouldn't be surprised if it main events an iPay-per-view, and I wouldn't be surprised if Del Rey wins. Because Chikara is kind of giving it a slow build. In what's the show? Chikara Anniversario, Horse of a Different Color. In the main event, Del Rey and Kingston finally got into the ring with each other. They both tagged in, and the crowd went crazy, and they said on commentary, wow, this may be a future big-time Grand Championship match down the line. But I don't see Chikara just putting it on a regular weekend show. I actually see that being on iPay-per-view, and honestly, I don't think Kingston is keeping the title after 2012. He might, but I think Chikara kind of wants a new champion every year. And honestly, on the roster, the only 2 people right now who I can see beating Kingston are Ultramantis Black and Sarah Del Rey. I think those are the only 2 that work. So I think one of those matches will be on a weekend house show, and I think the other match will be on iPay-per-view, and I think that match, the guy beats Kingston. Or girl, I guess. But Del Rey, what they're doing with Del Rey and Chikara is tremendous. They're really making her seem like a legit threat. They're not just letting her wrestle with the guys. They're not just letting her beat the guys. She's beating the top guys. She is coming off as the second or third toughest person in that promotion. And that's not by coincidence. They don't put Del Rey in the main event and have her beat a well-known guy like Generico if that didn't mean they had long-term plans for her. I'm sorry. So that was a great match. Like I said, second best Chikara match of the year. A very good show. Great main event. Tremendous mixed martial arts segments and some good matches up and down the card. Honestly, that show's a very good show. For $15, I think that show's worth your money. The Contaminated Cowl. Is it cowl or cowl? Whatever. This show is just okay. There was great storyline development. Like the Throwbacks match had a good storyline development. The Spectral Envoy Batiri Young Bucks match where the Young Bucks beat both teams and got 3 points. That worked. Sarah Del Rey versus Oberion. Yes, Oberion, I rated a match of yours 1.5 stars. That's bad. In reality, the match was just a little too short, and the match didn't really do a lot. Don't be offended. The Colony versus the Swarm was a good 6-man. Eddie Kingston versus 17 was a fun little encounter. I thought that match was okay. It was very short, but I thought it got the job done. Jigsaw versus Icarus was a fun match, but I don't know. I just expected more from it. And the main event I thought was very good. I didn't think it was as good as their first match. It's kind of funny. If you have a match between 4 guys and and in the next match you're going to take out Icarus and replace him with Johnny Gargano, the match is going to get worse, and that's what happened. I'm just joking. I understand that with the nature of the injury angle that this match wouldn't be as good as the last one. And the last one was in Canada, and it was a title win, and it was a big deal. So I get that. But it's true. Icarus was in a match. There were 4 guys. Icarus was one of them, and they had a match. And then Icarus left, and Johnny Gargano came in, and the match got worse. And everyone knows I love Johnny Gargano. He's in my fave 5. But this was very well done. And the title change really, really worked here. But this is more storyline progression than anything. There's not a lot on the show. There's a few good matches, but honestly, it's not something that I guess is really, really must buy. The anniversary weekend shows, I'll do these at once. I thought both shows were very, very good shows. I thought this was one of the better double shots Chikara has done in a while, where both shows were really, really good shows. The first show, there's nothing great, but look at the star ratings. I mean, every match is a good match except the opener, which was it was decent. It was barely good. I think it almost got to that level, but not quite. And the rest of the matches are really good. Chikara did a really good job of explaining the storyline backgrounds behind some of these characters. The second match on the show is one of the funniest matches I've seen in a while. The Sendai Girls match I thought was a fun Joshi match. Mixed martial arts versus Dark Crabtree was absolutely, absolutely amazing. If I had to rate that, I would probably give that 4.5 stars. That's how amazing that was. That match, Mixed Martial Arts versus Darkness Crabtree, is worth your money alone. The Gekido versus the Chikara Wonder Rituals was a very fun pro wrestling match. Cabana and Mr. Touchdown had a very hilarious match. And the main event, I just thought was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. That whole tag partners fighting thing, I thought that gimmick really worked. Whenever the tag partners got in the ring, you wanted to see them go at it. It made for a very entertaining combo. And for all 8 men, they really pulled it off. So like I said, a very good show. In my opinion, Chikara's 3rd best show of the year. I liked it better than the 2nd anniversary show, just because there's so many good matches up and down the card, and the show is so entertaining that honestly, it really is worth the money. And the Og and I, another good show. But half this show, the match quality isn't as good. Saturday and Kagetsu, and Dasher Hatfield and Cole Cabana, and 3.0 over 17 and Shard, those matches were just all right. I mean, they were okay. They were mildly enjoyable. The Colony versus Los Ice Creams, I thought was better. It was better than I expected, but I wouldn't call it good. But I thought it was entertaining. And, it got Soldier and Green at a point, so I guess that was important. The Sendai Girls versus the Bravados was a really fun match. I really liked that. That guy-girl interaction. The Bravados sold it really well. They're the perfect type of team to fight girls in the ring. And they just the combinations between each teams and the near falls were really, really well done. Del Rey and Meiko Satomura was also really, really well done. Very stiff match. And for 2 girls, I mean, they really hit each other hard. And the crowd really bought into it. I was really into that match. The Spectral Envoy versus the BDK and Delirious versus the Batteria versus the Swarm. So much fun. I mean, there's 12 men in this match, so you got to figure it's going to get entertaining because there's 12 guys in there. And it was. It was really, really enjoyable to watch. And there was never a dull moment, and there was always great storyline stuff. This was Frightmare's return. I didn't know that Frightmare. I wondered why he was out of Chikara so long. Apparently, he tore his ACL. I didn't know that. That surprised me. I had no idea about that. But he made his return in this match, and he looked really good. I'm very excited to see more of him in Chikara. And like I said, very fun match. Eddie Kingston versus Jigsaw. This match was awesome. This match, actually, what am I saying? This match was the 2nd best Chikara match of the year. I put this over Del Rey and Generico. This match was just great. These guys know each other, so they're going to have a great match because they're like best friends in real life. They had a match last year at Chikara Source Rex that was also great. This was better, though. But that match was also great. And like I said, this match was really tough. Jigsaw was kind of jaw-jacking with Eddie Kingston early on, kind of throwing him around, and then he kept saying, come on, champ, come on, champ. Then Eddie Kingston got very pissed. Eddie Kingston's facials in this match were absolutely amazing. Eddie Kingston got pissed, started firing away, started taking control of the match because he is the champion, but then Jigsaw had a dive. Jigsaw started working over Eddie's leg. Eddie could barely move. Jigsaw hit a few trademark moves on Kingston, and Kingston kept kicking out. Kingston's facials in this match were absolutely amazing. And then both guys started going at it with each other, back and forth near falls, and they both were furious when the other would kick out. Like Jigsaw would kick out of the backdrop driver, Kingston would kick out of the super brainbuster, and they were both furious. And Eddie Kingston, when Jigsaw I think kicked out of the I forget if it was the backdrop driver or the running forearm, but he was so pissed, like he was banging the ring in anger. And then he and Jigsaw had a tremendous strike exchanges. They were just pounding each other because they were both so tired. And that's another thing. I've talked about this before. I really love it when the wrestlers can sell how tired they are. I mean, everyone gets tired in long matches, but when that becomes part of the match, that's when I really get into it. Like Roderick Strong and Eddie Edwards last year at the Ringmaster Challenge. One of the reasons I love that match so much is because one of the main themes of that match is these guys are so exhausted and they can barely move. And that was part of the story of the last fall of that match. And that's why I was so into that match live, because I could feel for both guys. Same thing with the Chikara 8-man last year that went an hour and a half. Eddie Roddy, when they're exchanging near falls, again, Eddie Roddy, I mean, they're dead. They're so tired. And in this match, you could see it as well. They were both just dead. And like, the finish comes when Eddie can barely move, and Jigsaw just hits him with a super kick, and Jigsaw runs the ropes, and Eddie just backfists him twice very quickly and then falls on top of him and pins him. And so relieved that he finally did it. He could barely move, but he had to do it. Like last minute. Like I think Aaron talked about this. What really truly makes fighting spirit type situations, it really has to come when a wrestler has to resort to extraordinary circumstances in order to win. Like he's down, what he's doing isn't working, and then he has to do something extraordinary, like start getting up after one counts and this such to come back and make this comeback. In this match, Jigsaw was just constantly pounding with big move after big move, and Eddie Kingston had to do something tremendous, and he just backfists him like 3 times in a row, gets up immediately and pins him like that, and then just collapses because he's so dead. Awesome match. Great match. It would be higher if it was a little longer. That's my problem. It was long enough. It was like 20 minutes, but the pace they worked at, they could have gone 30, honestly. That's how into it I was. Aaron, I think if you're watching, I think you should watch this match. I think you would really like it. But yeah, great match, very good shows. So yeah, all the Chikara shows, with the exception of the Contaminated Cow shows, I mean, they were all really good. And the Cow show is still a great storyline progression. The Girls Reunion show is still good. I mean, there's good matches up and down the card, even though I was kind of down on it. Homecoming was a very fun show. Slammiversary was a very, very good pay-per-view. Probably the best show on this list right now. And Over the Limit was good because there are 2 great matches. So yeah, that's it for me. I'm Big Red 310. My voice is almost gone, and I'm out. Goodbye.